Shit. Don't let what other people talking about in their diet woke community tell you shit about no relationship when half of them single.
We do. But sometimes you move into these neighborhoods and, folks act like it's the first thing they want to ask you is what you do for a living. What,
I
this, that, and
live.
the other. Right. That's what I
I
say.
live for a living. What you do? But that's part of the new social bonding when you go from one place to another. We are identified by our job more than we identified by any other aspect of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
The type of work you do tells the people so much more about your personality and character.
Hmm.
So they always want to know, what do you do for a living? How do you make your money? Because that tells a lot about where a person's priority is in their mindset. It's not so much the job that they have, it's the mentality of the person that have that type of job,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you in a blue collar neighborhood and you coming from the white collar world, they gonna look at you kind of side eye because they suspect of how you make your money. Whereas if you come move into a blue collar neighborhood and you blue collar, oh yeah, they want us. It's
Mm-hmm.
another form of tribing up vetting,
Right.
So that's a common question in the modern society because our jobs have become intricate parts of our identity.
Well, I think my neighbors wanted to know because they had flagpoles in this yard when we moved in, and they belonged to the subdivision. And I told them I told the HOA, you're going to have to remove these flagpoles because I don't fly flags. Now, if you want to put a totem pole in this yard, that's fine, but we not flying no flags. So I think that I may have rubbed them the wrong way. But I told my husband that's the only thing that I'm not going to do is have no flags in my yard. So they end up moving them, but we got some backlash on it. So
Oh,
our now they want
look,
to know if
long as they move,
yeah,
long as they move them up, fuck the backlash.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody ain't supposed to always agree on everything all the time, or
yeah,
life would be dull.
yeah,
Sometimes you need somebody to dissent to let you know you doing what you meant to do and you following through with what you said. But
yeah.
if ain't nobody dissenting, it's not really a focal point. So it's the same way when peaceful people congregate. There's always some a-hole come in to try
Mm-hmm.
to disrupt the peace because the frequency is too peaceful. They
Yes,
can't handle it.
that's the problem. It's a lot of love and peace over this way. These folks can't handle it.
Cultivate that feng shui.
Right, right.
All right, sweetie, I'm gonna let somebody else come up, okay?
Love you. Thank you. Have
Yeah.
a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna take one more, then I'm gonna answer the questions. Oh no, they didn't stop me from taking. So now I'm gonna take the questions I got. The Ottomans infiltrated the empire that was already in place in the Americas, then create the corporation. Who was running the empire in the Americas? The tribes. The tribes from America. I don't have many memories to look back on. I'm wondering if I felt with everything as it happened, so I don't really look back. Nadine Vaughn. Man, the archivist. What is the purpose and how do you interpret spiritual taps on the body? They feel like muscle jokes. Um, when you talk about spiritual taps, you talk about energy surges. And the energy surge can feel like muscle jolts. It can feel like somebody from externally zapped you like a static shock. It could be a tingling, a itching. It depends on how your body interprets the frequencies, how it'll manifest in the body as a spiritual tap, and then how well you can relate to it. J. Warriak. I have a question about healing family karma. It's my understanding you can send the energy back. The energy have to be rejected, blocked, not necessarily sent back. You just so we talking about breaking generational curses. The energy is normally a bad habit that's passed down the family line, and all you got to do is don't indulge it, and that's breaking the curse. So, being man 67, I'm visiting my grand uncles and aunt for the first time in Michigan soon. I'm documenting them while I'm in town. They are from Tennessee, and I'll be stopping there first to record as well. Do you have any advice on what kind of questions to ask? Ask about your family history as much as they can tell you, and let them go on autopilot after that. You know, get them tell you about each one of your they uncles and aunties they remember. Learn your family history. Focus on that because it's going to tell you about tribal patterns and what tribes move, how your family move. The imagination is the way that the mind creates something to focus the intention on. So I'm all the questions, a couple statements in there that I didn't respond to. So Chief Balance 713 say, why do most of the chiefs that I encounter have an affinity with dogs and music? What's the connection there spiritually? I resonate with the bird clan. My tribal name is Nighthawk. So a lot of the chiefs, it's a legend in a lot of tribal traditions that says the great father walks across the sky with a black dog on his heels, and it's called the legend of the great father. And many of the chiefs used dogs in hunting rituals, and the dogs became part of the chief's um, energy. A lot of the guys that we call dog men is chief energy. And now the spiritual or the first you got to go to the stellar similarity. It's the Orion constellation with Sirius, the dog star, on his heels is the great father and the black dog. You know, Earth, the mirror image is the chief of the clan, which is the head of the family, with his dog, and that became customary over time. I think that's all the questions. Yep. All right. They won't let me take nobody else up. I'm about to wrap it up. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate y'all coming to Chief with the Chief one more time. I don't know when I'll be back, but this one was for props. Big dude, Dr. L. Hayes, my father. So, peace and love to the people. I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope I was able to help expand your consciousness. Peace and hair grease from the Middle East.
Some prophecies that's coming out, man, and certain things are starting to move around. We at the end of this moon cycle, and we bringing in the sun phase. A lot's going on. So Chief Pontiac, Skype Ape at the Northgate, Raw Hayes have brought us some clips and other things he gonna go in on discussing the transition that we're going in, the transitional phase, as this whatever energy it was, this moon energy go out, and then the Big Mama's energy come back to the planet. Go ahead, Rod. Tell them what we got going on.
So Dave, today we just going over receipts. Somebody sent me a couple on my Facebook. Has sent me several videos that is like streamlining everything I've been saying over the last like 6 years. So we ain't got the videos in no particular order. We just gonna take them as they come and do a little commentary between each one of them. But this is really just a receipt drop so that they'll see that all the stuff I've been telling them. Somebody sent me these. It's a Facebook page that got more than this on there, but I have to go into it, and you can check that Facebook page for even more. But they came from the main ones we talking about came from a particular Facebook page. Somebody tagged me in them, and I'm sharing them because they used computer graphics and animation or voice to text to voice. So it's like they took notes of everything I've been saying over the last 5 years, and then they said, this is what's going to happen, or this is what's going on right now. So, roll the coin, Adder. You know the truth, man.
Let's get it cracking, y'all. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're about to get ready to crack here. Yeah, you want to go in on that?
And so, you see, he said that the commands was coming from Cheyenne Mountain, right? And remember, I said 1,000 times that the military command is operating for the continuity of government out of Cheyenne Mountain. Right? And he went into the Antifa thing. George Soros was funding the anti-ICE protests, and they were sliding in private militaries that they had purchased for the assaults on the government agencies that was closing in on the immigrants, the illegal immigrants. But the illegal immigrants was the prelude to the conflict. So this is what, remember when he sent in the military, and I said that he gonna be able, the military can be sent in under the jurisdictional control of the National Guard. So he sent in those those National Guard troops supported by a group of Marines. Right? So they went over all that the stuff I've been saying. The changeover at the end, they was talking about that the other countries is starting their own internet, blocking out the United States military created internet. Right? So they coming up with their own, and they knocking them all offline. So all of those countries, they say it's mostly Africa and Asia, and they have exited the World Wide Web, and they have established their own. All that's code talk. It's double speak, right? Because it's telling you that those ones have already made their alliances and have sealed their connections from the fallen regimes. So they stable now. And the ones that still tied into the World Wide Web, which ties into the old system that's still online, they the ones that has to crash. Right? So the ones who have their own systems in place no longer have to rely on the old systems, and the ones that still relying on the old systems, and that's the grand finale. When the old systems collapse, we talking banking system, then they roll out these arrests, right? Obama gonna be the one that's supposed to shake the world. So all this stuff gotta happen in the next 100 and something days, like 101, 102 days. because the arrival of the craft is the deadline that they've given us of their operations in the old system. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end, and the end is the beginning. Mm-hmm. And you start all over again. So the referee come in to determine who's the victor in the war. Right? The referee got to be an unbiased person that has no distinct ties to the left or the right. We're going to see who won. Right? So they telling us that the craft's supposed to arrive within the next 101 days. That's telling us how long these operations going to be rolling out. We in September, that give us to the end of November. That's like 90 days. You know, so good. So all this stuff is cumulative. Right? Little things is happening, we report on them. Another little thing happened, we report on it. Right? And once they're aware that we're aware, then they move on to the next point. We're not consenting to the tomfoolery. So every time we don't consent and we keep moving on with our persistence of who we is and that we the rightful heirs, it shrink their system. They control, and it makes the ones they call the deep state, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, they're the ones that's going crazy right now, trying to figure out ways to sip their last of those sips of power, because it's finna all come rolling out. As we will see, it's going to tell y'all more of stuff that we did discussed on the Young Elder channel in the next one when he roll that corn.
Yeah. Hey, quick questions before we go to the next one.
Yep.
All right, so 100 days from now, in November, that's when they talking about the 12-mile mothership or whatever the mothership's arriving. Do you think that we should prepare for some type of like outage? Because when these ships appear, they can they talk about a power outage or some kind of it could cause an event. So should we be like stocking up or getting our supplies together? And
I'm gonna tell you this, anybody that ain't ready for what's coming now, don't waste your time.
Okay.
If you ain't ready for what's coming, because you can't stop what's coming. This is the grand finale. Right? So now everything is kicked up a notch. This is when they said the white hats went from defense to offense. Right? That's chess. The only time you switch from defense to offense in chess is once you got the upper hand. Yeah. Then you attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So it's a shift. The power shifted. When they told you they went from defense to offense, I tell you right there, the power has shifted.
Yeah.
Right? Because as long as the dominant force is dominating, you can't mount an offensive.
Right.
Because you're too busy backing up on defense. But as soon as their resources is depleted, and they don't have no more gas to move forward, then the tables is turned now.
Yeah.
So now the once defenders is now the aggressors, the attackers.
Right.
Looking to stamp out the last little vestiges and holdouts of the fallen system so that we can bring in the golden age with the new systems.
Right.
Right. In religious terms, this is the so-called prophecy of the end in Revelations. Right? We're in the final chapter of Revelations right now. So,
I see that.
And all that's based on star constellation alignments, portal gate time frames that's kept. Because remember, all of the numbers reveal something. And then Budell just did a little short on the 999 gate, which is to the nines is to the finish. Right? So after the 999 gate flip, that's when you start seeing everything take off, right? Then he mentioned something about, I think, an eclipse on the 7th, right? So it's telling you everything that's taking place in the stars, but we don't always know how to translate that to what to look like in 3D when we experience it. So we show you the energy using the numerology. And then we try to use current events to align the numerology so that you have a perceptive insight into what you experience going through the system, going through the process. Then it causes you become more alert, more awake, more aware, right? So the light codes turns on the light. So when we tell y'all these numerology or tarot readers or whatever, and they give you this layout, then we match it up with the real life scenario, and it can be so accurate as it can call a person's name or address out, like GPS.
Hey Rod, one more question before we get to the next slide. Now they said they mentioned quantum, the quantum monetary system.
Yeah, the
Now,
QFO.
I did a tape on it. Now, to me, they already semi in it. They just still got paper money floating around. They already semi into the quantum system already. They just because you got all the crypto, all the different parts, right, of the quantum system. But to me, they just waiting on, and they haven't printed no more money. Could you go in on that about the printing of the money and how the money system is going to change over to the quantum? How it's going to completely change over? Because that's what.
So the executive order stopped them from printing the Federal Reserve from printing Federal Reserve notes in 2017.
Uh-huh.
But they still had what's called surplus reserve notes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they print so many of them. Mm-hmm. So they had to run them through the system. And remember, when they collect the old bills, they supposed to burn them or recycle them, right? So they've been collecting old bills, is reducing. Remember I told you the BRICS nations is to damn the dollar back home?
Yeah.
And then that's going to force the Federal Reserve to have to take more and more dollars out of circulation.
Right.
And they backing depends upon the rate of circulation. Right? This is why they talk about how many times do the black dollar bounce through the black community before we put it into somebody else's. How many times the Jewish dollar, the Chinese dollar. But all that's telling you is who's keeping the financial value stable on the currency.
Right.
Right? The ones who's passing it the fastest is the most valuable to the system. So they created something called consumerism. Right? Shopping crazes.
Uh-huh.
Right? When catalogs came out in the late 1800s for shopping with places like Sears and Roebuck, people lost their man shopping.
Yeah.
So everything was being shipped back then. Put them up, put it on the train.
Yeah.
Catalog shopping. Now we Amazon shopping.
Yeah.
Anything you want, you can look on the internet and order it, and it'll be there in a day or a couple of days or less.
Yeah, thanks.
Right? That's so that to keep the rate of circulation, the faster the turnaround of the dollar, the more value it have for the Federal Reserve. But the less value it have for us because it also creates inflation.
Right.
Right? Now, when they start reducing the number of dollars, when they get to what they call a critical pivot, is when the inflation of the dollar start having to be brought down because it's beginning to be scarce.
Mm-hmm.
That means the value of the dollar start to restore itself. By the time the banks collapse, then the inflation will just plummet.
So, my bad. Go ahead.
So prices will go back to like the 50s or the 60s or something.
So
but
if
the
we got
value of the dollar would be stronger.
so for somebody that's got over 10,000 or something like that crazy in their account, what should they do? Like, should they trade that money in for some like gold or something, or should they sit on it? Because the bank closed, boom, we don't got no more money, or we can't give you no more money. How do you deal with it right now? Because you want to be prepared if you got a whole bunch of money in your account. What do you think people should do if they got over 10,000 or whatever in their banking
Well,
account?
as long as they keep a couple thousand in cash reserve, they should be good. Because when the old system fall and the new system come online, it's an automatic compensation for the ones who money was tied up in the system, the old system. It's part of the currency buyback program, right? Remember we talked about that.
Yeah.
What happened is when the crash happened and then the banks are all closed, they're non-functional, right? That's when the banking corporation is totally defunct at that point.
Right.
So the Federal Reserve Bank is what we've been relying upon with Federal Reserve notes.
Right.
So when the Federal Reserve becomes totally defunct, it becomes the responsibility then of the U.S. Treasury,
right,
to restore trust in the financial instrument of the nation. The only way they're going to do that is it has to be substantially backed by its original backing, which was gold and silver.
Right.
Right? So now they take control of the defunct banking systems. Your Chase Manhattan's already been seized by military intelligence, but they didn't tell us that.
Oh.
Bank of America has already been seized by military intelligence, but they haven't told us that yet. Right? It's a couple more of those major banks. Wells Fargo, seized by the military. Right. They all were seized because they was part of a conspiracy to enslave the people. And the conspiratorial nature of it was predicated upon consumerism, making you so delirious with money because you've been in poverty so much that you don't really understand money mechanics. You don't know what the value of the money really is because somebody got to come over every year, called the chairman of the Fed, and adjust the interest rate.
Right.
By the way, it was one that just got apprehended a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Coming to talk about adjusting the interest rate. We're going to adjust your ass. We're going to show you some adjustments. First, we're going to adjust $5,000 suits, and we're going to put you in this $2 orange jumpsuit. See how you like that.
It's a $2 orange sandals, jailhouse sandals. The county joints. The county joints. Yeah, go ahead.
So the first thing that stand out is the raid in the Vatican. That took place in 2018. That was when they brought the 650 plain loaves of gold back to America that the Vatican had on catalog that belonged to us over here.
Right.
Right. That went to a bunker in Colorado. It's not too far from Raven Rock, but it's a secure location, and it's replacing Fort Knox as the repository of gold. Right. You can actually get to it from Raven Rock by underground passage, but it's actually, the base is actually in another part of the state. It might even be in another state, but it's on the west of the Mississippi. Remember, I said everything, all of the capital and all of the state buildings, everything got to move west of the Mississippi River, because that's how we have to reclaim it, because the flip is required. So from DC, everything got to move out of there because they're going to destroy them sigils that they call streets,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're gonna end up. Most of the people in DC probably gonna have an option to have a house anywhere they want in the country or a farm, So, because all that's gonna be demoed.
Hmm.
They got sigils um, to control our energy carved in the ground, and the activity and movement of people generates the kinetic energy that vibrates their sigil, and it causes the reaction across the land, right?
Uh-huh.
So to break free, and so they don't work no more, you have to tear them up. You have to reroute the ley line,
Uh-huh.
or repattern how you draw energy from the ley line. So most of DC gonna be gone unless it's some of it kept to be like a historical, this is what happened site or something.
Yeah. So do you see so based on what they said about the underground tunnels and the children and all the people that was being tortured, this was going on worldwide. Seemed like
It
all
was. It was. Matter of fact, most of the LA tunnels, the New York tunnels, um, the Chicago, they was all cleared out in 2017.
Yeah, I remember that when they in North Carolina. It's one. I think it was one in North Carolina too.
Yeah, remember they had the tent that was taking the rescue babies from the underground city in New York. The tent was set up in Central Park. It's called a triage center,
Yeah, I remember
right?
that.
And that's where they was taking the babies they was pulling out of there.
Yeah.
You mean he was taking all of the ones to a military base down in Texas that was actually it was decommissioned as a military base, and then they recently activated it to be the housing for the orphans that they was bringing, and to try to determine which ones um, was viable
Right.
psychologically.
Yeah,
Because
because
some of them, when they go through that kind of trauma, they're a detriment to themselves and others.
yeah, that's right.
So they had to keep them under control conditions.
Uh-huh.
But the other ones was able. Some of them was placed with foster families in the meantime. We don't call them foster families. We say somebody took them in. We don't know nothing about no foster.
Yeah,
What
CP.
foster? Foster Silver?
Yeah, could you go in on CPS? CPS, Child Protective Services. They said that they got infiltrated by these same guys, and they actually flipped the script. Instead of was helping the kids, they were pulling the kids out to put them into this ring, into this society or whatever.
They had it was a group of special forces that had got out of the military, and they formed a child rescue organization, and then they was how can you say it, commissioned as an asset to military intelligence in order for them to assist in the tracking down of these networks.
Uh-huh.
So it was like hiring the private military that's already doing the work to continue doing the work and give you the intel. From the intel from different rescues of different groups of children and the routes taken, you were able to then draw on the war board a pattern.
Uh-huh.
So all roads lead back to a source.
Yeah, our roads lead to Rome.
There you go. And so that's Buckingham Palace has also been cleared.
Yeah.
Right? That's when the crest fell off the gate. I don't know if y'all remember that a few years back. But one of the crests fell off the gate. That was the breaking of that family's right to rule from Buckingham Palace.
They said that Prince dude, he moved out. He live in the Dracula dude palace with adopted kids. You heard about that? About the Prince? He like once her son, he's supposed to become the king, right? But Prince
Yeah.
Harry, he moved. They said that he had to move out, and then he moved to a palace that they got in Transylvania somewhere. That's the house passed down from Dracula. You heard about that?
Harry came over here with Meghan Markle.
Okay.
You remember they was all at the basketball games together and stuff? Because they was she was more royalty than they was. So she get to pick where she want to live. And he can't do nothing but follow. And the royal family can't say nothing because in royal family bloodlines, he ain't got no business with her in the first place. He's an artificial bloodline. Inserted. Right? To give you the illusion that they the real royal family and she got tricked.
That's right.
But when she go over there where the real royalty at, they got to evaluate her. You remember when they evaluated Princess Diana, they marked her for death.
I was just going to say that. Because she connect back with our Nana.
Then they say that she, not only was she higher ranked than Queen Elizabeth, that if she ever pulled rank, that would disrupt all of the royal families in the area.
That's why the Queen got rid of her. She said
she would have been the heir. She was the heir to the daughters of Europa.
Yeah.
Direct line. The daughter of Europa was one of the seats of the daughters of Isis over Europe. In order to see the 13 bloodlines. Isis bloodline is number 13, makes up all of the rest of them.
Diana Isis. Yeah, Diana is one of our Nana's names. Diana.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they marked her for death because her bloodline ranking and her personality, she rather help people than take from people.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have that. They can't keep you enslaved giving you stuff for free.
Now, here's another piece to this, Raw. You heard about something like this? It's this lady named Arizona Wilder. Something echoing. Hey, she named Arizona Wilder. And she came out and said that she was a part of that ring, the child ring. And she goes into detail on how the queen and the family, so-called royal family, who really usurped in 1837, King George now, who were dark-skinned Moors. But that's another story. But this lady said that they were shade shift into reptilians and then eat children, drink their blood. Like for a rip, they had to do it every couple months or every couple 30 days or so to hold their form. She said they were shade shift. Go ahead.
That's that statue we showed the people when they was eating the babies. That's what they talking about. Remember I told you that the reason they got kicked out of Europe was for eating babies and having sex with babies.
Right.
Right, and drinking adrenochrome and torturing them.
Right.
They're going up in people's houses just taking their babies, their infants, and doing all kind of stuff with them, eating them, drinking their blood.
Yeah.
You know, making custard out of their livers and all kind of stuff.
See.
Right? Okay. So they eating the babies and then they raping the women. Right? The men can't sit there and not do nothing.
Right.
Like they doing now. Because if you sit there and don't do nothing, eventually when they get done raping the women, they gonna rape the men.
Right.
They say,
right.
What kind of man is you? You won't stand up for your wife and your daughter, your mama and your sister. You ain't worth the air you breathing. And we'll kill each other rather than trying to determine what's taking place before we start to kill. Because when you born in a war zone, you grow up inhaling the pheromones of war.
Right.
You become naturally combative and defensive. And the only ones you know how to defend is the closest ones to you.
Right.
Right? So when you go into war mode, anybody say something out the way, do something to them, you gonna holler at them. That's nature.
Right.
Right? You defensive of the pack, but the problem is the artificial pack that's been infiltrated by foreigners masquerading as us.
Right.
Right? That sick us on each other and they ain't never around when the shit go down.
That's deep. That's deep. Hey, so Rod, before I go to this next clip, let me ask you this last question. So, like, do you think because they being that they extraterrestrials or whatever, interdimensional beings, and they don't feel the same type of morals that we feel? Like say we eat chicken, right? We eat chicken. We make chicken breasts and sandwiches and chicken pasta and all this. The chicken, if you was a chicken and looking at it from the chicken perspective, the chicken might be feeling the same way we feel about them eating our children. We eat eggs, children, fetuses. They fetuses, all this. It ain't no problem. So, do you feel it's a moral guideline between these beings, interdimensional evil beings, and us?
It doesn't have anything to do with morality.
Okay.
That's just like our nature is to defend our babies and don't let them eat them. Their nature is to eat them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's just the realm of opposites. Remember, that's one of the Hermetic law, the law of opposites.
That's right.
Okay, now if you gonna have a defender, he gotta have something to defend against.
Right.
Right. And the only way he's gonna know what to defend against is he got to know where you being attacked at.
Right.
Right? Once you get a good, clear understanding of where the attack coming from, now you can either fight the long war by fighting the soldiers, or you can go straight for the top and try to eliminate the generals.
Yeah, that's what
which will give you control of the soldiers.
Right.
Right? You wipe out his generals, you wipe out the commander or their leader, and now you got control of their army. Without firing a single shot.
Well, if the chickens is plotting on us right now for doing them in.
The nature of the chicken is a prey animal.
Yeah.
The chicken is genetically designed to feed larger animals. Now, how do I know this? Every bird just about fly. Any bird that's that big and fat that can't fly. Even a turkey can fly.
Yeah.
But a chicken can't fly. That means that he have a designed nature to interfere with him escaping the dangers of a predator. All he can do is run around and squawk.
Yeah. Man, that makes
but
sense.
sometimes you got a game rooster that'll try to defend the pack.
Yeah.
Until he get put in the pot.
Yeah. And fried it.
Yeah. So the chicken is genetically designed to be a prey animal. Nature provides prey animal for predatory animals.
That makes sense.
Right? To feed on. If nature without cannibalism or carnivores or carnivorous animals feeding on other animals was a negative thing, why would nature do it? Nature do it out of necessity.
Right.
Nature follows the law of necessity. The law of necessity says if it's necessary to do it, then you do it. If it's not necessary, don't do it.
Right.
Right? All of the things that we see strange in other animals and we be like, that has no use. It got a use for that animal. But it don't have a use that you can comprehend because you didn't create that animal and you didn't design that piece to do that function. It's like our appendix. Right? They've been trying to figure out what is the purpose of the appendix. They still ain't figured it out, right? So they sitting at the tonsils. They call them a vestige organ of a bygone era when they had a function in the use when we was in a different state of existence as mammals.
Uh-huh.
So those are carryovers that we don't need in this reality, in this incarnation, but we all got it.
Yeah.
Nature wouldn't let us keep it this long when it got rid of everything else that we didn't need.
Right.
We still needed to be furry, but nature stripped us naked.
Right.
Forced us to use our brain to make clothes. Why would nature do that? Right? If nature don't do that and you can be warm with fur, you wouldn't use your brain to develop clothes.
Right.
So nature puts you in the condition to force you to think about a situation and solve the problem as the most highest evolved of the intellectual mammals.
Makes sense.
Right? So nature teaches you by creating a necessity to force you to adapt. Your adversity is only tolerable up until when the flip comes, your ability to receive your reward. Some people can take more suffering than other people. So they have to do functions in the family structure that the ones that can't take the weight of the punishment can't stand to lose. It's too much for them, but for you, it's nothing. Right? So once you understand the concepts of how nature is using nature to teach you naturally, then it's easier for you to see the patterns in everything around you. Because everything is cyclic and it's in patterns.
Hey, I was talking to one of the elders one time, and he was telling me a whole bunch of stuff about how the land used to be before the colonizers came. And he was saying that before they came over here, that we didn't really eat birds. That we like the chicken. We didn't. The chicken, he said the chicken is like an offspring of a bird called a dodo bird. And he said that what happens is when the Europeans got over here, the birds, because we used to feed them the fish guts. When we used to go to the river and fish, we get the fish guts, throw them to the birds. And so we didn't eat them. They used to walk right up to us, like we were friendly with them. But when these European Moors came, they see this bird walk up to them like, they say, "Oh, this bird dumb. This bird don't got no. Let's kill him." They started killing all of them and eating them, and then, but we didn't really eat birds over here. Birds were spiritual animals over here, especially like the eagle and like the hawk, different things like that. So, do you think
we ate birds?
Yeah, certain types.
But we didn't eat birds of prey,
right?
Because they're spiritual rank, because they fly the highest in altitude.
Right.
And we didn't eat the condors, the vultures and buzzards, because they was required to be the cleanup crew. We knew they was necessary as the cleanup crew for the decaying carcasses that would spoil the land if it was too many of them.
Uh-huh.
So the reverence for the cleanup crew to be able to dispense with the decaying corpses is the same reverence as the predator able to see from 200 miles in the sky or 2 miles in the sky a rodent running down and swoop down and grabbing.
Yeah, hawk good at it.
Right. Those are symbols of different types of chief. Right? The cleanup crew is the big heavy lifting soldiers that comes up at the end when everybody else done had a chance to resolve the matter. The cleanup crew come in and they clean shit up. That's it. And then to talk about. Right. It's a dirty job, so I know I'm gonna get dirty, but it's gonna get cleaned up. Right? Then you have your high thinkers, the ones who's painting the tapestry of what you need to see. Those are the ones with the eagle eye, the hawk eye. And you can tell by the name of the chief what totem energy, because those animals represent an energy frequency that we can also use
Right.
as a totem animal. Our reverence for that animal have to be the same as that animal reverence for us in reciprocity.
Right.
Right? So the animal that strikes your heart chord becomes your totem animal first. Right? And when you're born with a totem animal spirit guide, then those are some of the strongest spirit guides to have when you on earth, because they keep you out of shit or they keep you in a bunch of shit.
Right.
It just depends on the nature of the totem animal.
That's good stuff. He that same elder also told me, he said, if you go to a place, if you don't see no buzzards or vultures, don't live there, because ain't no good food. Ain't no good food there. Ain't no vultures.
That's because it goes to the mythos of the corpses spoiling the land. When the land is spoiled, the food is no good.
Just like you said.
Yep. So, I've been talking about the flip for ever since I knowed you.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. So, this is just another person that's seeing the same thing that I'm seeing, telling y'all what he see. The convergence is when the algorithm is showing this. We didn't took over. But we don't know we took over yet, and we don't know what it feel like once the takeover has took place. Because we don't remember it happening in a time where we can understand what it would feel like, what it would look like. Right? But the flip is the changing of the guard from the old system to the new.
Right.
All of the old stuff, the analog, is being shut down, going to the digital. The same way we going from iron-based carbon to gold-based crystalline. Most of us don't know that. When the crystals in the DNA activate the dormant DNA, that's going to be full activation of what you really are.
Right.
Most of us think, oh, we just humans. But our DNA ain't turned on yet. A human is just an avatar for something much greater. And the frequency that comes through the DNA determines how much of the higher energy will be able to facilitate that avatar. How much of your spiritual energy are you able to project into the 3D?
Right.
And the ones who can do it, they become your entertainers of society, your artisans, your painters, your poets, your storytellers. And they harnessing the high spiritual frequency, and then they describing the realm around them in terms that somebody later would come along to determine what the earth has went through on the watch of these artists. So it goes from hieroglyphics to now. But that's going to change. Because the language is going to change. Right. The symbols going to change. Right? The geography going to change. The geometry going to change. It all is part of the rewrite of the history for the next 26,000 years. So this right is the golden age coming in, trying to figure out how to advance the civilization even higher.
Right.
To higher realms of consciousness where you can operate a 6-dimensional self in a 3-dimensional platform to bring about different ingenuity to the reality. Expressing your God self. Right? And you become co-creator with the creator while the creation is creating itself.
Right. So it pretty much was inevitable. Like being that we go into the sun cycle, it's like it was only a matter of time before this is gonna have to happen anyway. It was like no way around it, really. If they was gonna do
Right.
it with or without us. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the cycles. The only ones that's gonna do something is the ones that's genetically programmed of what to do.
Right.
Everybody don't know what to do because they ain't supposed to be. It might be above their pay grade. But some of us came down here with a mission,
Right.
so we decided to do what we had to do.
Right.
Right? Spiritually, nobody on earth from earth, including none of the animals. We are spiritually projected into this 3D and to experience the consciousness and all of the three-dimensional laws, which gives us data in the fourth dimension, fifth dimensional form. Right? So we make malleable the world around us by general consensus of what we accept to be true. Because ain't nothing true until we say it's true.
That's right.
Because if you don't tell yourself it's true, it's part of the illusion. And you see through it. But as soon as you agree to accept the truth of it, whether you deceived or not, you became a willing participant in the 3D construct. And that's why you ain't supposed to choose sides to maintain your balance in life. Some people stuck to the right trying to be too righteous.
That's right. You got a point.
Some people stuck to the left because they can't break free from the wickedness.
That's right.
Right? But we walk the straight path.
Straight
so that's the
down.
Mr. King.
The green light. The neutral zone. Look, and that's what I was telling you about earlier, where I said that they said that we was nice guys. In Latin, it means stupid, right? Because they spoke Spanish, right? They said nice means stupid in Spanish, but they said we were nice guys, and then they turned around and said that we were Indian givers, meaning that, hey man, we just let you hold that gold. We weren't giving it to you. Could you go in on that, the Indian giver thing with like how you had explained about Manhattan? You tell me about Manhattan.
That's the story in Manhattan. When you look up how much Manhattan was purchased for, it was for some trinkets. Hold on 1 second, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, we got that part. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm looking this up. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had that. They said that we was nice or we was kind or whatever, but we still had that part to say, "Hold on, sucker. Hold on now, sucker." See, we got that part. Once you started going too far, now hold on. Big Mama wasn't no punk. Now she gonna say, "Hold on, sucker. You going too far now." You had that part right. But yeah, you pull it up. He pulled it up, y'all, about the Indian giver story about how they purchased. It was $50, $100 or something. Look, purchased.
Now, pay attention to this. Manhattan was sold to the Dutch in 1626 for goods valued at 60 guilders, which is often translated as about $24 at the time.
Wow.
The transaction occurred between Dutch representative Peter Minuit and members of the Lenape tribe, though the understanding of land ownership likely differed significantly between the two groups. Right? So, what made them come up with the term Indian giver? No chief that's from the land will sell you any land. Land is not for sale. It's by heritable birthright on the motherline only. Any of those sharecropping agreements where you see a man name on there, he was giving the land away from under the women. And he was probably an imposter, pretending to be our great-great-great-grandfather. Right? All the time, he was the Samuel L. Jackson in the house. He the one took control of everything, and then he turned around and hired Paleface as the management crew to buffer him from the ones in the family that's out in the field talking about, what is this Negro doing up in the house?
Right.
You see, then we couldn't figure it out because the house Negro is comfortable being us with massa,
Right.
right? But he ain't comfortable with we out in the field.
Right.
You see, so it got to be something else. When we understood that the sweetheart swindle was in play, then we understood who the frauds was, because they used that sweetheart swindle to give the control of the land over to the system that supported the family that they worked for over in Europe.
Right.
How do we know it was over in Europe? Because all of the money went to Europe.
Right.
It didn't stay here. America haven't done significant infrastructural improvement in years.
Go ahead, talk about it, Rod.
This is because the money was never intended to keep up the upkeep over here. It's like what's the little crazy boy from That's So Raven?
Oh, you talking about Orlando Brown. Lando?
Yep. He said something that a lot of people went over their head. Why America don't look like Dubai? It used to.
Yeah, that's who I heard it. That's who I heard it from, right?
He said, why it don't look like Hong Kong? It used to. Right? He was pointing out cities that's advanced architecturally.
Right.
The use of beautification of the environment and the structural architecture designs that used to be here.
Right.
When they describe it, remember, Tartaria means west of Rome. And the easternmost point of Rome on America is D.C., which was originally Rome. Right? Because it was the first place that the church stuck their flag with the good ship Plymouth.
Go ahead.
Right? So once they declared that Rome, everything west of Rome was destroyed. Mud floods, by blowing dams,
right,
and using the underground aqueduct system that they was controlling out of Philly at one point, but now it's controlled by underground networks. You can flood anywhere if you don't use it, if you just open it wide up. We knew not to do that.
Right.